Alright, guys. Welcome back. And we are starting a new game today called Endzone, A World Apart. Survival city builder type game. I know after last month's videos, this is going to be a refreshing change for some of you.
The settlement is flourishing. And everything was improvised at the beginning. I was entrusted with planning back then and allocated work. Yes, sometimes there were long faces. The thing is, we had to survive. There was this one time.
Grandfather, you had a suggestion, didn't you? Grandfather loves these stories, and meanwhile I know them by heart.
This looks like a pretty intact village. Now you just need to survive.
But back to the suggestion.
The suggestion, yeah, right, exactly. So now, we're able to upgrade our town center to a town hall. Then the survivors are allowed to make a few smaller suggestions there about upgrading the settlement.
Maybe I might have played the tutorial because I don't even know what the town hall looks like. Alright. So, what we're gonna do, because I'm completely lost. You gotta forgive me, guys. I have no idea what I'm doing. Like I said, I'm just messing around. I'm really thinking I'm gonna go back and take the tutorial, though. It reminds me a lot of Surviving the Aftermath, but the controls are definitely not the same. Alright, so it reminds us a lot of a couple of games we played. Really reminds me of Surviving the Aftermath. Say what? But the controls are different, so I gotta learn them. What was the other one we played that was a lot like this?
We finally left the end zone. Just look at this beautiful scenery. It's marvelous, even though it's a bit different from what we had pictured. We were able to secure a few basic resources and are storing them in our bus. I'm glad we prepared ourselves well for this kind of scenario, especially since our inventories in the end zone ran low. Don't forget that if you need additional information, you can look at our survival guide at any time. Well done. Everything you need to know should be right here. I think the time has come for us to at last build ourselves a new home here. Before we can construct buildings at all, we have to assign the profession builder to several settlers so that they can take care of construction contracts. In general, it's your responsibility to decide which tasks are important and how our settlers are supposed to be distributed to attend to them.
Alright.
right. Your builders will be ready as soon as construction contracts have been issued. It's time to start focusing on our key and most basic need, water. The first thing we ought to do is to establish a working water supply. So we'll move on to our first construction contract. Place and build a jetty by a lake in the vicinity of your town's.
So I assigned workers. Are they doing something about it?
Very good. The jetty was completed as planned. Now we have a place where we can collect water. There are other possibilities to gather water too, but the jetty is the simplest and most cost-effective method. We can obtain and store water from different sources, like a jetty, rain collector, or well in the cistern. The cistern should always be in close proximity to a water source, so that our water carriers don't have to walk too far.
Take it a cistern is like a collector. Maybe. Okay. Alright. I'm liking the game. Is there a way to speed it up? What the fuck? Radiate. Soil moisture. Okay. seems like it's going to be a lot more in depth than Surviving the Aftermath or Alien Dawn. I believe it was Alien Dawn, something like that. How come we're still not producing water then? Holy shit. It's kind of a complicated way to get to the fast forward button.
Great. We have now installed a working water
That would
supply,
have been nice to know.
and water is now transported from the jetty to our cistern. Consider hiring more water carriers if you don't have enough settlers available. You can never have enough water in storage. Now we should focus on food production. It's important to ensure the supply right from the start. A gatherer's cabin, a hunting lodge, or a fishing hut can directly remedy the situation. I suggest starting with a fishing hut, since we're already located near a lake.
Fishing hut. And you just have to go into the buildings and assign.
Good work. We've now taken care of our basic supply via food and water. Make sure that you have enough food and water on hand at all times, especially if you want to upgrade your settlement. A population that grows too fast can quickly unbalance your food and water supply, bringing major difficulties for you if you don't watch out. Crops are another excellent way of getting food because they constantly grow as long.
Oh yeah. No. All right. Cultivate a field. Where? Do it up here. Speed this up a little bit. What's our population? We got 6 builders. I picked cabbage just because it grows faster It doesn't produce as much, but if I'm looking for a renewable crop,
Looks good. Remember that we need the widest variety of food sources to stay healthy. You should also plan ahead for drought periods that might come when it's not going to rain. Stock up on food and adapt your production to avoid bottlenecks. I'll show you a few more strategies later on. At the beginning, we don't have much scrap wood or other resources. We could build a production building, but to obtain resources as fast as possible, it's best that we start gathering right away. Assign a Gather All Resources task. All the settlers who haven't been assigned any profession by you are going to accept these kinds of tasks. In addition, settlers distribute resources within your settlement.
alright. Slow this down. I am pretty sure some of you are watching me struggle with this going, what in the fuck? But if you notice, the tutorial doesn't exactly tell you how to get to that menu, or build. Of course. So we're going to start gathering right over here. And we're going to start gathering. If I know that actions menu, then we'll speed it back up and see what they do.
Since we now own plenty of resources, we can start to build a real production building. Then you don't have to always make efforts by hand that collecting is taking place. Production buildings are not only easier to manage, they are also distinctly more effective than simple tasks. Don't place production buildings too far away from your settlement. You'll be able to change their working area at any time later on.
Okay.
Right on. The best thing for us to do now is to build a forester's lodge to automate our supply of wood and make it more effective at the same time.
Okay. Slow it down. Forester's Lodge. Ooh. So I want the forester and the wood gatherers kind of working in the same spot. That way they kind of even out, taking as many trees as we're planting.
Good job. You might want to change this building's working area later on to tell your workers where they should get their wood from. Ah, and for your information, if you want, you can also tell your Forester's Lodge that they only ought to attend to reforesting an area in order to create a lush, green forest which generations to come can use.
Okay.
Very good. Now we ought to take care of collecting scrap. Scrap is one of the most valuable resources because the quantities present are limited, and we can recover other resources from scrap. Unlike the task we just had, the scrap yard allows larger quantities of existing scrap to be dismantled than with ruins or wrecks.
Alright, guys. I think sorry guys, I just wanted to change where they were gonna put trees. Alright, build a scrap yard. So don't have so far to walk between grabbing scrap and getting it taken apart into usable stuff. But my videos can only be so long, so I'm going to save it at this point. And in the next episode, we'll finish the tutorial. I will catch you guys next episode.